Hello, my friends. Welcome to the Digitally Overwhelmed podcast. I'm Cynthia Pacheco, your host, and I run Digital Bloom IQ, where I help health and wellness businesses get found in Google and heal more of the world. Today, we are doing really a special episode all about website audits. And I was inspired to do this because I'm currently launching my SEO audit service, and I wanted to give people a taste of what it's like to have their website reviewed. So this episode today has a video version, so you can head on over to my YouTube channel, bit.ly/dbiq YouTube, to check that out. And it's not the same as the full on SEO audit. So I've been talking about the audits the last few weeks. And basically, this is an opportunity to get like a full 360 view of how your website is performing today from an SEO perspective. And that includes many, many different perspectives. So one is technical, one is UX UI, then we've got keywords and content, and we also have competition. So today, these kind of like taster website audits are mostly UX and UI recommendations and potentially a little bit of keyword stuff there. So I had asked people on Instagram, and I also sent an email to my newsletter list, just kind of opening up this opportunity to do some free audits. And I was so happy with the response. Everyone seemed really happy and excited. So I picked out a few, and I'll be doing them over the next few months as well. So if you still want to submit your website, you can. It probably will take a few months for me to get to you, but I do want to give some support. And honestly, I think we can all learn from each of these audits. I have a lot of recommendations that might apply to your website. And so again, the video version, I'm going to be sharing my screen, so I'm going to be clicking around. So it's up to you. I'll try to do my best to just describe what I'm seeing for those of you who are listening. And that's fine. So let's dive in. All right, so we are starting with Diana, and Diana's a friend of mine. She was the first person who reached out, so I'm just going in order here. And she's actually someone who is in Argentina, and it's just really great to be able to connect with local people here, local clients. So Diana's website is in Spanish, but since I know Spanish and a lot of my recommendations are more about UX UI, it's totally fine for me to do this episode, this website, and give you some recommendations, some ideas, Diana. So right off the bat, I love this initial image of you. I would say, maybe looking at just making sure that the quality of the image, because I do see a little bit of pixelation here. You probably just grabbed the image that you have on your computer, and just looking at just the sizing of it so that it's slightly pixelated. It's not too bad, but just like an initial thing that stands out to me. The other thing is, and this is a learning for everybody, is that we really want to pay attention to what's above the fold as soon as we load the website, because people, when they first look at our website, they want to know right away, like, what is this? Who is this? Sometimes, someone might be looking at our website and already have a sense of what we're about, but we want to make it really easy. So I recommend, maybe under your name, having your title. You're a communication expert, I know. So, maybe having your official title right under. In terms of SEO, that's also really favorable because there might be people searching that. And so that's coming up really high on the page. It's a heading. That would be awesome. You could even have like a little phrase here or something so that people just are able to read and understand right away, like what you do or what this website is about. All right, so I love that you've got your social media links right here, easy to access. That's amazing. And yeah, so let's go through a little bit of the homepage. So this is great. I love that you have your contact information really easily. Again, this is something a lot of people struggle with. They make it hard for the visitor to find a way to contact them. And I don't know, this should be like something that's literally one click away or less, whether it's your email or a contact form or that sort of thing. So this is great. Like, I love that you're starting to talk about that you're a passionate communicator. I love this little quote. And these images are great. So one thing I was going to say here is that here you've got like kind of different, well, they're the same, right? Like points that you're expressing around what you offer. So, learning or teaching people how to contact or communicate better, strategic communication, um, helping you like explore your voice. I love all of these, and these are so needed, Diana. One thing I was going to say is sometimes it's nice to give people um, like different options. So if you have maybe a blog post that speaks to this topic more, or maybe you have like an opt-in. I don't think you have an opt-in. I didn't check, but it could just be something really simple. Doesn't a lot of people think about opt-ins and they get stressed because they're like, oh, I need to do all the stuff. Like it could just be one email where you're teaching someone, or a series of emails, right? So keep it simple. But I like to give people options. So, personalizing, this is a great space to just give someone some different options if they did want to kind of go for something where you're coaching them to communicate better. Like, what would you recommend as the next step? Maybe you only have one offer, but yeah, like what could you give them in terms of additional content under each of these different kind of pain points? I think you get what I'm saying, right? So I would definitely look at adding more internal links from your homepage. And this is a recommendation I say for everybody, is that the homepage is one of the most popular landing pages. And so we want to invite the user to go further on in the website. And how do we do this? Internal links. So this is a great place we can do that. Maybe the slider, instead of being images of you, which I love, by the way, maybe there are blog posts or other areas of your website that you want people to look at, because at the end of the day, people want to like learn more, they want to get to know you, and so we want to invite them further on in the website. I would actually move these images maybe to your about page, potentially. And I do love that you do have the blog post at the bottom. This is an internal link. This is great. This is totally fine. So let's move on to the next section. Okay, so this is the about page. And one thing I want to say right off the bat is the orange text. I know people like to get creative, but orange text is hard to read. Unless you have some really solid data that you can say that your ideal audience loves reading orange text. I would just make it easy for them. I know we want to be creative with our websites, but we also want to make it accessible. And I love that you have here to download the CV. One thing I was thinking is there a way for you to just preview the CV like a PDF right off the bat, so someone didn't, like, they could download it if they wanted to, but you also give them the opportunity to just look at it straight from your website, or even just copy parts of it and like curate it on your website. Yeah, I feel like there's so much more you could do with your about page, like maybe adding again more internal links of your favorite blog posts. I know you already linked your social media up here, but I would also add it here at the bottom. Like, just this image to me is a little too big. Like, I would move it to the side, make it like on the right side. And then have all this contact information higher up. So wherever we can make it easy for people to just get the information, that is awesome. It just makes such a big difference. And yeah, I noticed you had some press features at some point. I can't remember where it was. But I would add those if you've been featured anywhere. You talk a little bit about where you've worked, but if you've written for other companies, if there's a possibility for you to link to that and have it kind of here in your about section, that's amazing. Especially as a writer or communication expert, we want to just like show the portfolio of our work on the about page. So, or create a whole separate page that could be like a press page if you want. So those are my tips. I know that's a lot. So just take the things, and this is kind of goes for everybody, take the things that you feel most inspired by, most kind of like drawn to, and then just get started on one thing at a time and just make like a little goal of like make one change per week sort of thing. You don't have to do all of them, but I think just some of those things would make a big difference. So congrats, Diana. Love it. Keep going. And we're going to move on to the next website here. All right, so next up we have Shaylee of Your Social Media Sherpa. And I love this initial image of you, and just, be unforgettable and highly referable to your network, work one-on-one. This is really clear above the fold. I know what to do next. One thing I would consider, and I think at some point I saw that you had like a pop-up on this page as well. So we'll get to that in a second, but really be clear. And again, this goes for everybody. Really be clear about what do you want the visitor to do next on each page. So even having an exercise of just writing down like homepage, what would be the ideal next step? Visiting your services page potentially. On the about page, what would be the ideal next step? Probably visiting your services page as well, or maybe a contact page. So we don't want to overwhelm. And I feel like two options here are okay. So we've got the refocus your marketing by booking a 30-minute direction call. So this is kind of like your freebie offer. I'm assuming this is free. That's something to keep in mind, want to be clear with people. And then this is the same thing, right? So either taking one of these out, and I would lean towards maybe the navigational one, because it's taking up all this space on the navigation, and it's a little distracting to the eye. But yeah, we like, I guess I had previously said give people options, but maybe just try and not overwhelm them. And I know it can be different for depending on what you're offering. But here I would definitely, take out potentially this one, just because we already have this here. And in terms of the pop-up, so it's not coming up right now, but for all websites, make sure that the pop-up is super mobile friendly. So when I say mobile friendly, make sure that when you look at it on your mobile device, you're able to easily close the pop-up. So let's see if I do this. Yeah, so that's one way you can preview your website, is actually making it smaller on your computer, and that will allow you to see the mobile version of your website. Something else you can do is right click and do inspect. And so this is a developer's tools, and here we can toggle device toolbar. And so here I can see how it would look like on a mobile device, which is kind of cool. And so I can click around and I recommend doing this with all your website, with all websites, because here you can really get a sense of, how does this look like on a mobile device? And is it resizing correctly? That sort of thing. So those are my first two initial home recommendations are on the homepage. I love, again, this image. I love all this copy. I feel like this is really clear. Okay, so here, this is the other kind of thing that you're offering. This is your opt-in. So this is what I'm talking about, right? So you've got this, and then this, and this, and this one's actually blocking the navigation, which is fine, but I would prioritize. So keep it simple. Maybe take one of these two because it looks like they're the same. I'm sure you didn't do this intentionally. Sometimes these tools just requires some customization, and we're not really looking at that. And that's totally, totally fine. So those are my initial thoughts. I love these testimonials. This is just such a great way to use the homepage. And I also love your footer, because here people get to the bottom and they see you. And they also have an opportunity to click through. So the footer is such a great place to just capture a visit, have it continue, and give people just more options really to where they can continue the conversation with you. All right, so let's move on to the about page. So I would say the about page is one of the most important pages on your website. So I love all this. This is great. One thing I noticed with this page is that the title, I love this title, by the way. Why does Shaylee want you to succeed on social media? I noticed that the title was repeated here. So I would try and see if there's a way for you to, just write a new title basically, or take this one out potentially. Maybe this one's like learn more about Shaylee, or get to know her better, that sort of thing. Again, looking at if there's any opportunity here to add internal links, that's great, because a lot of people come to the about page to get to know you. And they actually want to get to know if you're going to be the right person to solve their problems. And so we want to really speak to that, which I believe you are. And so the about page is also an opportunity for them to continue that journey of discovery, of seeing if you're the right person. So if we can add some internal links here, like if you, talk about something specific like LinkedIn or something, do you have a LinkedIn resource? You had that opt-in, or, even adding a section. For a lot of my clients, I say, hey, like, these are my top 5 favorite blog posts that I recommend you check out. Like, you could totally do that on your about page. That's fine. So those are my recommendations. This image is slightly blurry on my end. Let's see if I reload. So again, blurry images is such an easy way, something you can fix. And I do this too. I just like upload things. I don't even check what it looks like. So, this can just change the way your about page performs. So those are my initial thoughts, my thoughts on these 2 pages. Great work, Shaylee. I know you've been working hard on your SEO and your website. So I definitely see this here. Great work. All right. So one last website audit. We're going to do one more. So here we have Annika, who is the owner of the Sleep Mastery Method. And again, right off the bat, I love this. Are you ready to find sleep again? I love the image. I almost feel like the site is already helping me sleep better, because it's so calming. It's like white space and just like gentle colors, the blues and the white. And the grays. That's great. I love that your branding is representing what you're giving to your clients and to your audience. So that's really smart. And I love all this copy. It feels really flowy. I'm sure you worked on this. This opt-in that pops up. So one thing with opt-ins, and I guess this again goes for a lot of people, I recommend the opt-in to be set up on exit intent. So I don't know what platform your website's on, and I don't know what platform you're using to set up this opt-in, but most opt-ins and most tools nowadays, they allow us to choose when the visitor is going to see the opt-in. So we can say, within a few seconds, we can say, sometimes we can decide if it's the first visit, the second visit, that sort of thing. And there should be an option to have the pop-up show up on exit intent on first visit, especially on first visit, because what happens if someone is visiting our website for the first time and they're like, they're reading through this and they're getting to know you and they're liking you, and then suddenly it's like a pop-up. It's very aggressive. And especially if someone just arrived on your website, it's like, well, let me like read what you're about, right? So I recommend exit intent on the pop-ups, and if you can make it potentially, yeah, on the first visit, at the end of the first visit, that's great, so that you give people at least some time to explore on their own before offering them something. Because nowadays, having someone be on your email list is a big deal, you know, like a committed person, and we want to be really conscious and thoughtful with that. So that's something I wanted to say. And I would also add more internal links to your content in the homepage. So, like, you know, maybe here tricks and tools, you've tried them all. Like maybe you have a blog post that talks about coffee and alcohol, or maybe you have a blog post about magnesium or medication. You know, maybe you can link to here, or like learn more, or like here are my thoughts on magnesium, sort of thing. This is such a great way for people to just invite them further along in the website, and just to get that information, and you're giving them value, that sort of thing. Even though here you're already giving your thoughts, you know, you could have deeper blog posts about each of these. And I love this, like work one. I was gonna say here, just having a little bit more text, like I'd love to help you, just something like more personable, because I see your lovely face here, and then it just says like one-on-one, and learn more. So yeah, I would definitely add like a little mini bio here. I think that would really, really be helpful. And then the last thing I noticed is that when I get to the work with me page, so let's see. So okay, so here on the work with me page, you know, you go through again, it's kind of similar to your homepage. I would get a little bit more specific of like what specifically you offer. Like, is it a call? Is it I mean, it seems like it's a call, like a 30-minute call, but I don't really know. Is this like a free call? Like we need to talk. Is this like a free introductory call, or is this already paid? And I actually went through and clicked through just like I just did. And I tried to look if there was a price point, but I couldn't find one. So I would be really hyper clear here, because if you're making, again, the visitor work to like, is this free? Is this not free? They're not going to book anything, because they're going to be like, well, I don't know. Maybe some people will just go through and wait until they get a credit card, but maybe some people don't have that time. So I would just be hyper clear. Is this like a free intro call, or is this, you know, what is the, if it's a low price? I know there's a lot of controversy on whether to put your price on your page, but I really think it's helpful, you know, if it's a one-time call and you're having someone, I'm sensing it's a free call. So if it's a free call, just put that like free discovery call. Um, and yeah, so this is great, like combined 15 years. Yeah, just, this is good. This is definitely like helpful. I know I said above that it wasn't specific enough, but maybe just slightly more specific. Like this is a call, one call, and then we move on to just like, what's the process? What's the next step, sort of thing. So those are my thoughts and my recommendations for the sleep mastery method. Great job there. And I will be doing another one of these episodes next week. So if you still want to submit your website, you can. I'd love to look at it and give you my thoughts. And I think these are just so exciting, because we can learn so much from all our websites. A lot of us have, you know, similar services or similar offers, and so it's helpful to look at things and look at how we can improve our websites overall. And if you're wanting to just take a deeper dive and understand, you know, why isn't my website ranking, or are there technical areas? So today I only covered UX and UI. And the audit covers a lot more. It covers technical, it covers content and keywords, it covers competition. And I will say that the audit is um, is kind of more designed for older websites. So maybe some of the websites we saw today are not 3 years old. So I recommend 3 years old or above. And so that's also something to consider. But there's always stuff to improve on a website. There's always stuff we can make better. It's kind of like a living and breathing thing. And I'm so excited to do another round of these. So stay tuned. And yeah, I'll catch you guys next week. Bye.